test. We are live. It's Tuesday. Is it morning? Nope. It's very not morning. It is the afternoon, man. And I know very not morning is not a correct statement. For all of y'all grammar police out there, thank you. I appreciate you correcting me. But anyways, man, it's Tuesday. It's been a busy day. But it's time to have some fun, man. Y'all know what it is. We are live. We have a very, very, very good co-worker, friend, military big sister type character on the show tonight, and also pioneer for us small business owners, man. But before we get into that, before I bring my guest in, I just want to remind you guys that Augusta Dream Center, man, they have their annual fun run. You know, if you're in the military, you know how fun runs are. Mandatory fun. But this isn't mandatory fun. As you can see right there, we got the Run for Hope coming up. Man, you guys get out there, come out, either volunteer, run the run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, hop, crawl, whatever you want to do, man. Just get out there, participate, get in the community, do something, and just meet people. So on that, hey, keep doing great things, and we hope to see you out there. But now, on to my guest. We are here live in the building with Tonia. What's up, man?
Well, thank you, Mr. Marte. Mr. Marte.
Yeah, man.
Invited me on.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time coming. You've been blazing a path for a podcast.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man. So look, we go way back when I was saying the first quarter of my career. And I did 24 years, man. You retired too. So look, it's good to see you. It's good. It was good talking with you last week. It's good talking to you this week. We're gonna get into it. So before we get into the questions and stuff, man, tell us about your podcast. Tell us about where we can find you at, and what is it? Where just give us some info.
Well, thank you very, very much. Thank you again for this information. I feel honored to be here. I'm on YouTube. I actually started on YouTube, and I also am on Anchor, so that means you can find me on Google Play, Apple Play, Spotify, all those wonderful places. But my podcast is Coffee with Tea. But the best way you can find me is under Confident Stride. So anything you Google under Confident Stride, it's going to bring you up, and then you'll see all my links that take me back. And I can always post it in the chat. But yeah, it's a small channel, so it's kind of hard to find. But Confident Strides is way bigger, so you can find me under there.
Okay. And so when you said that you're on Anchor, that allows for you to push out to like your what you said, Spotify and Google.
Yeah, when you're on Anchor, it pushes to like 6 or 7 different channels, and so I'm on Spotify that way. I'm on Google Play. I'm on Apple Play.
Yeah.
I'm on a bunch of other sites that I didn't even know did podcasts. But the fun part is when people say, "Are you on Spotify?" You can actually see me, so that's a cool part.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yo, go check her out. You said Confident Strides, Coffee with Tea. So
yes.
Look, that's it's a play on words. Coffee with tea. So if you're having coffee, somebody else can have tea, and you're also tea as in Tonia. I got you.
Yes.
I got you. All right, Tonia. So check it out, man. Tell us, who are you, where are you from, and what do you do?
I'm Tonia Tyler. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. I retired back in 2010, and so I've been on this whole journey of reinventing who I am and what I do. So there's really like no clear defined thing. I would just say I do YouTube creative. I'm a podcast host, and I'm also a meetup pro. So what that means is I just an organizer of groups. So
okay.
That's what I do. I host events so people can connect and grow and encourage each other.
Awesome. And look, you were telling me about something along the same lines where you could basically coach. Do you do that? Are you like a? Is that what that is? Where you're coaching people, life coach or something like that?
Yeah, like I said, the way we set up our made up group, it's all virtual. I host four different groups. I have a women's empowerment group. I have a personal development group. I have two entrepreneurs group. One's that's designated for both men and women. Then I have a women's only entrepreneurs group. And what I do, I have like one weekly segment, I call it, is where I just host conversations where we talk about things about personal development and, get people to think and talk about maybe where they want to go.
Hmm.
And I guess if you want to look at that, yeah, that's like life coaching, but I'm like not a certified coach. I just host conversations. And
Yeah.
I think that's what really coaching is just hosting conversations. And what I do is I invite some of the other people that I met through the podcast who also are trying to help people, encourage people to step out of their comfort zones to host events. So it's like the best way I could say it is like I own cable networks and I'm always looking for TV shows. So
Oh,
other hosts who want to connect and share
yeah.
and host conversations. So
That's
that's
good.
that's how the premise.
That I like the analogy. That's good. That's I like that. I host cable. I host TV shows. Yeah, that's what's up. So obviously, you were one of my first supervisors when I was an NCO. When I first became an NCO. But tell us, what are your ties to the military, man? What pushed you into the army?
What pushed me into the army? That's a kind of easy question. I grew up in a small town, and I didn't want to be a nurse or a dietitian. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there wasn't there wasn't a lot of options for me when I was in my small town.
Yeah,
So the only option I had was to join the military, do something, get out and visit the world because we weren't rich.
yeah.
So the only way I could see was by joining the army. But I did. Plus, I didn't have any discipline. So
Okay. And where were you in Connecticut?
yeah, I was in Connecticut, in a small town in Lakeville, Connecticut. Our biggest attraction was a lake, so that'll tell you.
Hey, look, man. When you've gone all over the place, sometimes that lake it's a not a safe haven, but it's a very welcome sight.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
peace, right?
We had a volunteer fire department, so they would sound the alarm or whatever, and then people would come in. So, like I said, it wasn't. We had flashing light, so it was
You
small.
had one stoplight. Okay. Look, so did you have any family members or anybody that you talked to about the decision to come in, or did you just be like, "Yo, I got to get out of here"?
Well, I had my dad. My dad was he didn't retire, but he was in the army. My grandfather was Navy. Um, so I was the oldest of three, and I knew I wasn't going to stay there. So I left. My mom she cried when I left. It was like she wanted to go, but she never took that opportunity to go.
Yeah.
So as the first woman to go, I was the first one, but I've always followed my dad or my grandfather. Though the biggest advice I ever got was find something in the military that I could do when I could get out. So that
Yep.
was my incentive when I joined the military. And then after me, my brother joined the Navy, and I have another brother who retired from the Air Force.
He retired from the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, good stuff. So, how many years did you serve?
20 years and 1 week.
20 years in 1 week. Look, when people when they be like 3 hours, 55 minutes, and so many seconds. You like, dang, you counted that thing down, didn't you? So look,
Yeah.
so when you served your 20, right? You make the transition. Looking back on it, so you had ACAP, I think it was. And we talked about the whole transition program. Looking back on that time frame, it's been a little bit. What are some pros and cons of your time in the military that you could remember that stands out for you at this point?
Like I said, the military gave me discipline. I didn't have any kind of discipline. I'm still when I retired, I still had that problem of being on time. Even though I got written up a couple times for not being on time, but I really needed that discipline, and the military helped me with that. And it helped me stay focused, and it's been a really good. It like sort of helped me focus where I needed to do at the time.
Yeah.
Now the con of it was the fact that when I left the military, I always say it nicely, I was institutionalized, where if it wasn't structured in a certain way, I was lost.
Yeah.
So, I had a hard transition from the time when I left, because at the time, the ACAP, looking back, they just prepared us to leave the army, but it never really helped us figure out how to transition into the civilian world. So it was a little hard for me when I left.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what a lot of service members complained about. And we were really getting a black eye from just pushing people out, really. I mean, they say that a lot of these programs are to help us, but the end line is to keep them from having to pay unemployment. So if they did it good and they did it right, they don't have to pay as much unemployment because people are set up for success to transition. And you don't think about that. A lot of people don't realize that the military really spoon feeds you with a lot of stuff, right? I gotta go here. Somebody's gonna be there to help me get to here. Once I get here, they basically you go from one line to another line and you hurry up and wait. And we complain about that hurry up and waiting, but when there's no more hurry up and waiting than somebody that's gonna tell you and herd cattle, oh my goodness, you're like, what is going on? So I'm at the last, how many days? I'm in the last 15 so days of my military career before it's officially over, and man, I'm anxiously awaiting what I'm going to feel like. I don't know,
I mean, it's a good feeling. I mean, like I said, I appreciate. I didn't know now all of the benefits that the military gave me or provided me along the way. And like, for one thing, you asked me in the beginning, like, do I counsel people, right? And I was like, well, I'm not a certified coach. And I went through that. I wanted to do coaching for like a long period of time. So I was like, I'm not a coach. I don't know how to coach. And it was a couple of years ago. I was talking to a guy. He was a coach, matter of fact. He was a coach. He was my coach. And he was like, Tonia, you're a coach. I was like, no, I'm not. I haven't gone to school. I haven't done this. He's like, I said, well, they taught me in the military, because he's like, well, what were you when you retired? I said I was an E6, so I managed people. That's what I used to say. So he was like, I said, well, we would develop soldiers. We would tell them, what your goal was in the military, and then you would tell them, this is what you can do to. He says, Tonia, that's coaching. I was like,
he said, look.
But I didn't see the connection until after somebody brought it to my attention. It's like, we are developing soldiers. That is called coaching. So it just takes you just have to learn to transition that language in the military to the civilian world, because they gave us a ton of stuff in the military. You just have to figure out it's a different language, but it still can transition to something outside the military. It took me a long time to figure that out.
Yeah. So that's really good, right? Because we don't necessarily connect those dots. What was some of the unique situations or challenges that you faced in that transition from, now I'm gonna back up real quick. So while we were in, you were doing your thing, man. You were doing like the home-based business thing before it was big, right? I mean, like, you were what do they call it, do-it-yourselfer trinkets, and I don't even remember how you were selling them. I just remember that you had started a business, and I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. she doing her thing, she getting it, but it never triggered for me to be like, yo, sometime in the future, this is how people are really gonna be getting big. And like, you did the entrepreneur thing, man. How did that work? And in the transition of getting out, did you like just take that and like blow it up, or did it just be like, you know what, I'm already doing this, let me just keep doing it? How did that work out?
Well, the thing is like, when I came in the military, I had, like I said, I needed help. I needed discipline. I needed guidance. I needed somebody to say this, and I did that. But towards the end of my retirement, I was like realizing that, and I say this nicely, there are leaders who are no smarter than you. So you're right. So I mean, they're in a position, and I say it nicely, but that does their position does not dictate that they're smarter than you or anything like that, right? So
Right.
I would bump heads with some of my leadership because I would think this makes no sense. Why are we doing this? So you start thinking to yourself, well, why would we do this? You know, you start learning about stuff. It's like this don't make sense, right? So, but that also comes down to your leadership. So if you like if you really develop yourself, you start thinking, right?
Right.
That's really what it was. I started thinking for myself, and I was like, if I get out of the military, what I want to do, and I realized from that time I wouldn't really want to work for anybody else. I knew in my heart that I served my country. It was a great thing. I love it, but I don't want to continue to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, the driving force for me to figure out what would I need to do to be able to sustain myself beyond the military, and maybe a side hustle, entrepreneur gig or something like that was the way I saw it. So I did go into the GS position after I got out. I did it 1 year. I was a GS7. I loved it, but I was just like, something was nagging me. It's like, Tonia, this is not where you need to be. And so after 1 year of being in the GS position, I resigned. And I got a lot of flack with that. Like, you're in the government system. You know how hard it was to get in there? And now you're resigning. And it's like, because I was like, I just can't do this. I just can't do this. So it was, I would say my last official job was in 2012, and I've been supported from my husband. Family does matter, but he has been supportive, allowing me to discover where I want to go. And now, I'm now figuring out what my path is, but it took me a time to discover, read. And that's one of the questions I was reading off of your thing is like, read, learn, educate, expand your world.
Yeah.
Oh my God, expand your knowledge. It's what you do that you just can't help but follow the path that the universe puts you on.
Yeah. And so you were doing this before it got big. Really, really, truly pioneering. Like, I remember when they finally put me on, when I finally got put on the LinkedIn, I remember, I seen you pop up, and I'm like, yo, I know her. She do a podcast? What's a podcast? But it was good, and then you brought on Coleman. Shout out to Dr. Coleman. And
Dr. Coleman, he's awesome.
Yeah, man, that dude, he's a wealth of knowledge. It's so funny when you can see, like, especially for you. Question for you is when you see your soldiers, because he was my soldier and I was your soldier in Norfolk. And so when you see your soldiers like going on to do great things, like just knowing where this kid was, knowing that he didn't even have, came in with a go to war, go to jail with a GED, right? And now he's doctor. You know what I mean? You see this, it's like, I don't know, I feel proud. I'm like, I use it as an example when I'm talking to the other soldiers. Like, man, if this dude could do it, man, I'm telling you, he's gonna tell you, I'll tell you that if you put your head down, know what you want, grind for a little while, man, you'll get where you want to go. But how do you feel when you see all of the soldiers that you had under your tutelage? What do you think about that? I mean, the ones that do good, because we always got the bad ones, right?
Well, Dr. Coleman and I had this conversation. He was one of those ones who tried my damn patience. I ain't gonna lie, right? I'm like, God.
Look, but to be fair, he's built like that.
I know, but here's the thing: is we had that communication. That's why I said we had that communication. I was like, so when I seen him on there and he accepted my invitation. I was like, we had to recap about all the stuff, and I was like, you made me. First of all, any soldier that you call hard or whatever is there to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you credit because there's two things you can learn from a person, and then you taught me that there's something you can, good or there's bad. And Coleman, looking back now, if I hadn't dealt with some of the stuff he has, we were dealing with in the military, it wouldn't be able to handle some of the people I deal with in the entrepreneur world now. So It's like everybody that you come across, they're there to teach you something, and I didn't understand it back then, but he taught me how to be a better person, how to deal with, I would say, difficult people, if you want to say, but he wasn't really difficult. He just, that was what he was built for.
Right.
And because he was in my path, it was there to sharpen my tool for something. So that's why I say now it's like watching him. I just love talking. We still text to each other, once in a while. But it's like we always have to he'll be like, sometimes I want to call you Sergeant. I'm like, don't do that. We're not there in the role, but I love where he's at. And like you, like I want to sometimes like, oh, that's Sergeant Gifford, but that's like, it's not Sergeant Gifford anymore. It's just, I knew you then. I'm thankful for the fact. I'm so proud to see. There's a lot of people that I see on my LinkedIn and on my Facebook that are doing great things, and I'm like, I'm just so proud, because that means if they grew, that meant I grew. So
right, exactly. I've never been that person. Maybe because I was raised in around women. And so I never had an issue with women leaders, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of people that do. And you led a big section when we were in Guam. You were over a section, and then I followed you to Norfolk, and we were like one of the biggest sections, matter of fact, in Mad VC. And you ran it. You ran the food section. You did your thing. And I pulled out a counseling statement that I had, and I got it from Sergeant Tonia. I said, I still got this counseling statement. It was ready for the board, man. You was like, you need to start practicing and studying for the board. I'm like, man, I was going to the board. It seemed like every other week I was going to the daggone board. But my question for you is, as a female leader, man, did you ever have to experience subordinates that were difficult, and then you found out that it was because they just could not be under a female leader?
You make me laugh, because there's one soldier I had. He plucked my damn patience. He was worse than Coleman. But this was closer to the time I got out, and what it was is, like I said, I know how to rephrase it now. It's like I said, it's been what I can't even count how many long years ago. But at the time, like I said, now I realized when I was going through it, they're there to challenge you for something. So when the soldier that I'm thinking about, I ain't gonna say his name because other folks might have had him too. But what I realized is like they're that's who they are. They only know what they know, right? And
right.
They may have came over because we were vet services, so I'm gonna say we were kind of like a light service, but we had people who transitioned in from other services. So those are the ones I had we had a little bit of a challenge, because they're like, a woman tell me what to do, and I'm thinking to myself, but if you face the challenge, not like it's we I ain't gonna lie, we bumped heads, but it taught me that if I didn't say something correctly, if I didn't do something, somebody else I would be replaced, right? So My job was to counsel the soldier, or to handle the soldier, or to get things done. That was my job.
Yeah.
If I couldn't get it done, I would be replaced. So those are things that I learned that while I was in the military now has effect on people on the outside. So if you can't handle your business, somebody will replace you. And I was like, that was something I learned in the military. So that was one thing. And then what I also learned from him was, don't take it personal. This is all, what you bring it up is all business. Yeah. I like you. I can be best of friends of you, but when you mess up and I gotta write you up, this is strictly business. Right. So that's those are the things I've learned along the way. And the thing is, the soldier that I had when I retired, he was the one who I didn't have like an official ceremony when I retired. That was a whole other issue too. There's always something going on. Right. So it didn't really go the way I thought it would. A retirement ceremony could go, but when it came time for me to leave out, two soldiers, him and another gentleman, put the board. They came together and created a memory board of all of stuff. So it was like you said, me being the leader, realized, don't take it personal. And I told him, it's like, I like you, but you screwed up, and I have to write you up. Right. So this is not personal. This is strictly business, and that's how you have to, like I said, all those situations made me a better leader, but it also makes me a better person now as I
Yeah,
deal with people a little bit later because there was something I had to learn along the way.
that's good. That's good. No, hey, that's why I just said that to somebody this week or last week. I said you got to separate it personal, professional. And when you learn to do that, man, or sometimes you have to just tell yourself, right, this is professional. So you can put the right hat on. Okay, because you might take it personal, be like, yo, I spent all this time with you. Like I would do that, right? When I was in Germany, I was the first sergeant, and I would spend all of these hours with these soldiers. And like the commander would come by the office and just wave him like, I'm going to a meeting. Enjoy your hour-long conversation. I'm like, no, save me, right? But all jokes aside, I love being able to help the soldiers. But when you sitting there for like an hour or two, and you're throwing out all of these ideas to help the soldier, and they walk out of there and do the same thing, I almost took it personal. I'm like, man.
This was so bad. This guy, it was we did something. He ended up writing me a counseling statement. That's and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So you had to calm down off of that, and then have to say, you have your opinion, thank you, but that's not how it works.
He said he's leading up for real. Wow, that's crazy. So, looking back past that guy, if you could go back and change or do 3 things different in your life or military career, whatever, what would they be?
I thought about that, and I was like, there's really nothing I would really change. I actually think about it because I'm realizing now it's led me to where I am today. So I there's things maybe I was wish I was more present, but I don't know if that's changing anything. It's more changing me. Mm-hmm. I think so. If anything, I would have probably they always say if you know better, you do better. So I guess I reflected on that. I was like, there's really nothing I would change because it made me who I am today.
That's right.
So I appreciate what I went through. I learned from it, I reflect from it, and then I took away some lessons. So I wouldn't really change anything. Yeah, it sucks as it goes through, but if you think about this, like, step back now, and I'm like, well, there's something I need to learn from here. Mm-hmm. Maybe I could ask for, the universe, God, whatever you want to say. Can you help me here?
Yeah.
And then you can look at and you realize this is something for me. Because what I'm realizing too is it's like what we go through is not really for us. It's because it gives us some tool to be able to use in the future. So that's why I say I wouldn't really change anything because what I went through has made me who I am today.
That's good. Jewel Junkie said, what's poppin', Papa Gift? I forgot to pay my bills. Look, shout out to the Jewel Junkie and the fiercely favorite Bling Bosses. Where they at style to your smile, $5 at a time, man. And she says, hello, Miss Tonia. How you doing? That's Jewel Junkie
hello.
Is Angelica Gifford the boss?
I was like, I know. I remember her. I haven't seen her in so long.
Yeah, she was the other do-it-yourselfer that I knew during that same time frame. She's still doing.
So shout out Miss Jewel Junkie.
Yeah, the business people, because it's like it's crazy because sometimes you could be right there and you don't really realize it until you see it somewhere else. You'd be like, hey, you're doing that too. I should have been marketing this thing, man. I should have jumped on that thing when you said something, man. Because this girl, she is creative. So shout out to the Jewel Junkie. Shout out to Tonia. And all of the creators out there, man. Those, back in the day, small businesses wasn't called small businesses because it was just your local businesses and everybody did their thing together, right? And whether you was paying cash or you was bartering, people, it was more business owners that you knew in your community than just big organizations that are running things. So, shout out to you guys. Keep doing great things. Now, if you could talk to anyone in history, anyone in history, whether that's your personal history, military history, biblical history, philosophical history, the history of the earth. Anyone in history, who would you want to hold that conversation with and why?
Ooh. I saw that question. I was like, "Ah, that's a tough one, right?" But then I sat there. I was like, first of all, I was thinking of my mom. My mom passed a couple of years ago, so but she's always been a support. So I feel like I talk to her whether she knows it or not. I'm like, if you have a loved one who's passed, you send those moments to them, right? So I'm
Right.
like, I feel like I'm talking to her. Plus, I can see her in my kids and my grandkids.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about the question, I said the one person I really would like to sit down. That was like, sit. It's still hard. I would like to pick Dr. Maya Angelou's brain.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. She's smooth with her stuff, and I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, I would just love to sit down with her, like, girlfriend, tell me, am I on the right track? What do I need to get right?
She'll give you some deep poem and you gotta
Yo,
figure that
yeah,
thing out.
yeah, I need some deep thinking poured on me, my friend. Tell me, what am I doing wrong or
Look,
right?
that's good. Um, she's one of those pioneers, man. So I can appreciate Dr. Maya Angelou. I got one of her books in my cart right now, so I'm gonna have to check that thing out and see if they have somebody. Hopefully they. I don't know if they had Audible. They should have. I like to listen to books.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can find her.
Look,
She's got a wealth of knowledge.
if I read that thing, it'll be reading me. So
And you know what? The thing I would say, she was one of my biggest encouragers to start learning to read, and it was because of our history. And you know, we weren't allowed to have access to books,
that's
right?
right.
And I was remember one of her, she was doing an interview of some sort, and she was like, oh, well, I read one of her books, and she would go in there and would get the hand-me-down books, right? And I was like, wow, we were just begging for the books, right?
That's right.
And here it is now in 2020, I had to look 2022, right? And we have access to books. And so I was like, think about all these books weren't written for us. And how many, gems are hidden in there.
Right.
And if we just pick up the books,
Yep.
we have access to these books. I can't get book fast enough sometimes. I'm like, people die for this right.
Yeah, look, you talking about that. I just finished a book with Booker T. Washington, and he was saying the same thing, where it was people who were allowed to read, and they were risking everything by helping teach, slaves how to read. It's crazy, right? It's like we always getting half of the story. There were white people out there risking their lives because they didn't agree with the system. And it's just one of those things where it's like we have to make sure that we are reading and getting the full story, because there's people out there, that when wrong is wrong, wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter if it's good for you. Well, I'm good. I'm gonna mind my own business because I don't want the white sheets to come find me. They weren't just attacking black people; they were attacking a lot of people. We know about our people who were attacked, but they were attacking a lot of families, man. So, you just said that just reminded me what Booker T was saying. And then when they finally started learning how and getting that opportunity, and people left and right was running. They were flocking to universities. They were they were literally getting underwater basket weaving degrees. Literally. They didn't care what it was. They were like, yo, teach me something. How to start a computer. All right, you push this button right here. I learned it. Give me my underwater basket weaving degree. But they were hungry for knowledge, man. Now it's like it goes backwards. It's like that we're on that bottom side of that, on the other side of that circle, and now we got to start forcing people to get educated, right?
Oh yeah, that's what I said when I read her thing, and I was like, oh my god, and here's the thing, and like I said, people always, especially in business owners, always talk about Think and Grow Rich, and I was like, I love some Napoleon Hill, but I was like, if you look at when the book was written, it was like in the 30s, I want to say, it wasn't written for people like me. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's gotta be something in there that I need to learn to read and pass on because, like I said, it wasn't written for people like me.
Yeah. Yep. But we gotta take them nuggets, whatever nuggets we can get. Take it, learn. Hey, if you don't know what history was, you might make the same mistake again, right? So, I digress.
I went down the tunnel with you, the whole whatever.
Look,
I'm with you.
We all the way down there with Alice. So, tell me, what's one of your most memorable experiences, man? You traveled the world. How many different duty stations did you have? I know you were in Guam. What other overseas assignments did you have? But what are some? What was some? I know you're a mother, so and you're a grandmother, so those are gonna be memorable experiences. You know, don't think that because you mentioned one that the others aren't as memorable. But just give us a one of your most memorable experiences.
Uh, my most memorable experience I had, like I said, it was my car accident. I had a car accident a couple of years ago, and that was the first time I actually, I would say, learned about what we call God, right? It was one of those moments. And I was driving in the car. I had a nice BMW, picking my husband up, and I was rolling. And when the car started spinning out of control, the first thing I heard was in my head, and I never even paid attention to it before. It was like brace for impact. And when I heard that brace for impact, all I did was prepare for the fact that the car is going to hit the cement wall. That's all I knew. The car was going to hit the cement wall. And so after that, it was I was the only car who was involved in the accident. And I was sitting there, and they had to have a police investigation. So they come up and they put me in the back of the police car, and I'm rambling to myself like, oh my God, what did I do? I wasn't speaking. You're going through this, like, and then something again in my head. It's like, Tonia, shut up. They record these things. I was like, don't incriminate yourself. Just shut up, process it, whatever.
Yeah.
And why it's so memorable was at the time me and my husband were having some trouble with our marriage, and finances was our biggest thing. And I had bought the BMW as my retirement gift for myself, but it was expensive. At the time, it was expensive. And we were really hadn't come together with our finances. So at that time, the reason why it becomes so memorable was that one time I realized that, first of all, I heard the voice of God in my head, right? I never heard of it before. So I'm thinking, what's this thing that told me? And it's weird, like I heard somebody in the car saying, brace for impact. It felt like somebody sitting right there with me. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Right? So maybe start questioning things. But after that was the one time I really started figuring out, or like, I would say figure it out, but trusting this divine source within us.
Yeah, man.
I actually started a relationship with who is this person within, who is this consciousness that I hear. So that's my most memorable moment, because it made me realize that I lost my car. That was, like I said, that was my prize and my retirement car. It came shortly after we lost our house. So our house went to foreclosure. So we lost everything, darn near everything.
Yeah.
But at that time, a sense of calm came over me when I was sitting in the back of the police car, that it was like, everything will be all right. Everything you asked for, everything you've been stressed for, it's okay. And that's the first time I really believed that everything was going to be okay. And I remember sitting in the back of the police car, and I was like, I laughed and I chuckled. I said, God, you got a sense of humor.
Look, I say that so often, man. And then people look at me crazy. I be like, God's funny, man. He has a sense of humor. I mean, if you just look at creation in itself, he has a wonderful sense of humor. So I can appreciate you saying that. He does. Yes.
It took everything that I cling to, that I thought was who made me, and took it away. And it was like, no, you have you. I have you. You are a divine person within. Learn to trust me, and that's basically where I started all over again.
Man, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're okay. That's a powerful testimony. So when you was telling me that story, man, I remember when we were in the office, and you got a call, and I was talking to them about the importance of the medical people verifying that you're good to go before you leave, right? If you want to share the full story. You remember the story when they let your mom go and she drove? That was your mom, right?
Oh yeah, that was my mom. Yeah,
my
mom.
Go ahead, you go.
Yeah, my mom had she had emphysema, and what happened was she ended up feeling like she had a heart attack, or she wasn't feeling well, so she went into the emergency room and they had them check, and they were like, you're okay,
You're good.
you're all right, you're good. And then what happened is she left the parking lot, was driving out, had a heart attack, hit a tree, and died. So I don't know if she was on the premise of the hospital, but she passed away leaving from the emergency room.
Was
And
that
so,
when she passed?
yeah, she died from a heart attack, leaving
Oh,
leaving the
wow.
leaving the hospital.
Oh my
And
goodness. That was then?
yeah, that was then.
Oh my
So after
goodness.
that's when she passed away. But at the time, it was like, I had an NCO at home,
Cause
and
she was driving, right?
she was driving. Like I said, she had a heart attack, and she had ended up having an accident, and she died of the heart attack, not the accident, but the heart attack.
Was it a
But
single
she had,
car? Cause she was in the vehicle. It
she
was
hit a tree, I do believe. She hit
okay.
a tree at leaving the. So it was a single car accident,
Okay.
and like I said, she went into the hospital because she was complaining of chest pains. They said there was nothing wrong and sent her on out.
Yeah,
And
they
so when
they
they sent her
passed
on,
her on, man. That's
passed her on.
I had somebody else who was having a similar situation, and I said, look, man, I know someone who had this situation, but I forgot. I didn't realize that that's when she passed. I thought that I remember you had to leave like immediately, but that goes to show you that some units do their job well. Cause you were my senior, they didn't have to tell me anything about whatever, what was going on.
Oh, but let me tell you what happened when I came back.
What
That's where the story really comes down to. Because
really?
I was grieving, we're dealing with the grieving, and I had a lot of personal, like I said, we had a lot of personal stuff going on at the time. And this NCO that I had at the time, because we used to have, remember we used to have these like SEO, SOP books or whatever, like these operating books, and I used to have to report from, because I had like four commissaries or something like that. We all
Right.
had they had these books and stuff like that. So when I came back after my mother had passed away from the funeral, I didn't have the books. The books weren't all organized or whatever. And so the NCIC, I ain't gonna say his name again. He called me in there and basically he was like, "Is there a reason why these books didn't get done?" And I'm thinking to myself, "Well, damn, I was on. My
Right.
mother had just passed away." So I copped an attitude and I told, I didn't like the way he was talking to me. This is how I knew I was time for me to get out. So when he was talking to me, I didn't like the way he talked to me. So I told him, I said, "Well, if you don't like it, just write me up." And he was like, he got ignorant. He was like, "How you gonna tell me to write you up?" Because that's where the conversation's going here. Right? I
Yeah.
don't have time to sit here and keep playing. Either you're gonna write me up or you're not. So that's what I knew. It was time for me to go.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. When you start feeling like you just with stupidity is just like, come on, you don't have no compassion for
Right.
somebody else's family, whatever they're going through. Whether you didn't like me or not, but the fact is, you are my leader, and you're gonna sit here. I don't have time for this mess. That's when I was like, I'm done. I'm out.
Wow.
So I was like, that's when I was like, okay, I would never want to put somebody in that kind of predicament again. And I think that's leading, like you asked me, like, why do I do the entrepreneurs thing? And I read, here's a great book, I'm gonna say, The Buddha and the Badass. And in the book he asks you, like, how do you determine your mission statement? And he'll have you do all these exercises. So in the book he says, like, think back on all the painful experiences that you've ever gone through,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the reasons why you do what you do, right? So I think community is our driving force. Everybody has a voice, and if you keep thinking about all those painful experiences, you don't want somebody else to experience them either. So that's why I do what I do now, because I don't want people to experience the same crap that I dealt with. So
Yeah.
having that NCO who had no compassion, no thought, no concern, I won't want to be that way. So that's becomes my driving force for what I do today. So if you ever want to know where's your passion, think about what caused you pain along the way, because you will not want to pass that to somebody else. That's your
good.
driving force.
That's good. You said, what's the name of that book again?
The Buddha and the Badass.
All right, so you just gave us a bunch of nuggets, man. If you're a leader, you out there listening, look, if you didn't hear that, You know, your job is to keep your people from suffering the way that you suffered. You know, we learn. They say we learn, the best learning is through experience, but you can learn through someone else's experience, right? If you save that time, learn from someone else's experience. If they're trying to give it to you, let them show you and share with you so that you could get that, you know, that knowledge without that pain, because it sucks sometimes. It really do. Hence my quote. All right, so if you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
I think I'm developing my superpower, and my superpower is listening, because there are so many people who don't feel heard. They just don't feel validated. And I think Oprah said it best, that people just want to be heard. They just want to be validated. They want to know that you're listening.
Right.
So over the years, especially why my podcast is, I host interviews because I listen. So I always say, if nobody else hears anything that you say, come on my podcast. At least you got one person who's listening. And that's how I do it. It's like, you got a story. Everybody's got a story.
Absolutely.
And so everybody has something to share. And so my listening has really been the key factor. I'm developing my superpower of listening.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes, man. That's a active listening. Yes.
Yes. Active listening.
All right. So tell me, in your experience as a service member and now, you know, entrepreneur, creative, what's a leader, man? What is a leader?
I think a leader is a person who, I'm thinking from the military aspect, right? A leader is a person who can motivate others. You're thinking in your head, no?
I don't want the military aspect. I want to know what your aspect is. What did you say? You did military. We just talked about that. But you're showing these people on the outside that, you know, I took my military experience and I'm utilizing that thing, and it's good. It's a wealth of knowledge. But they need to understand that military, the leadership isn't stop. It don't stop with the military. So what's your Tonia coffee with tea? What's your definition of leadership?
Well, that's the thing. Here's a gentleman. There's a gentleman that I know. He always calls me an influencer, and I was like, stop calling me that. I'm not an influencer. But then I was like, well, what do you call an influencer? You know, in this day and age with things. So it's not like the amount of followers you have or anything like that.
Right.
What I'm finding that an influencer, a leader, whatever you want to call it, is encouraging somebody to do something that maybe they've been afraid to do, something that they thought they couldn't do, something they thought wasn't part of them. But you, as a person, you listen to them, you encourage them to do it, you know, help them. I wouldn't say hold their hand, but you say it's going to be hard, but if you need somebody to listen to, I'm here. Or if you need encouragement, I'm here. So I think a leader is a person who's helping people step out their comfort zone, to develop their personal skills, their you know, operate, as they say, in their zone of genius. And if we can continue to listen and encourage people to do that, that's how you're influencing people to step out. And I think a leader is a person who knows that person has the potential and wants to help them flourish it.
Absolutely. And do you have to have a title to be a leader?
No. I think people get caught up in the titles because there's like, well, I'm a title. So what happens when that title's it's gone?
I'm the NCO, IC, A, B, C, D, whatever, man. Who cares about that crap? Because that person usually don't know what they're doing anyway. They could run fast and jump high.
And that takes us back. Remember when we were in the military? Like you said, we had the biggest branch in our
VetCon.
Norfolk area, right? VetCon. And there was a lot of people, and a leader would be the person who didn't hold the title, but the ones everybody looked at when something happened, right? You looked at them like, okay, what's so-and-so going to do?
Right.
Those are the leaders. So there's a lot of people who had titles, but when they gave the command or something, everybody looked around to certain people, like, well, what they gonna do?
Right.
Because if you are the person when people are looking like, what they gonna do, you're the leader.
That's
Whether
right.
they know it or not, because they watching to see how you're gonna react, how you're gonna respond, and what we're gonna do about this.
That's good. Like I have you on Saturday, man. We do coffee, crepes, leadership, and pancakes. Yeah, shameless plug I just put on there.
Yes, I like that. As they
But
would say in the
look,
military, if you like it, give us a thumb up, smash that like button.
that's right. That's right. Smash the like button and subscribe. So look, we talking leadership, man. Who are three influential people for you that had a big impact, whether that's personal or professional or spiritual? What's your Mount Rushmore of leaders?
That was a good question, and I wrote. Okay, I got two good ones, and the other one you might be suspect, but that's okay.
Okay.
So the first one I always looked for was Oprah. Oprah's been my go-to as I figure out my podcast journey, and I'm thinking to myself, I think when I first started this thing, I was like, Oprah used to say, people have a voice, people want to be validated, and she said that for years on her show, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, she's right. She's been saying this for years. People want to be heard. They want to be validated. So I listened to that and I picked that up. And then I also like when I was starting to do the podcast, because here's the thing I do. I got off of social media for a long time, right? And people were like, why would you do that when you're promoting your podcast? And I was like, because I have to focus on what I'm doing. I'm not worried about the social media part. I got to do the work.
Yeah.
And here's how Oprah played a big role. Oprah got big, and she did it without Facebook, without Instagram, all these channels back then.
That's
so
true.
I'm thinking she put the work in. She created the work, and now what she does is she promotes the work on these channels. But she did it without these channels. So I'm thinking, let your work do the work, build the work, and then share what you do along the way. So Oprah was my biggest influence on that.
That's good.
And then I would say another I guess you could say I was thinking like modern Beyonce. Sometimes I go for my walk. I'm a walker,
Okay.
and sometimes that when I'm walking, I listen to my Beyonce, and sometimes she just uplifts and like, we can do this, we can slay. So I was like, we can do this. I can slay, you don't have to have but I can do this. So just watching people and how they move moves me, right? And then here's my sketch leader, and I'll give her some kudos. So I don't like her music, so let me give you that caveat. But every time I have a moment where I'm thinking like stuff is down, Cardi B is my go-to person.
But she has a story though. She has a legit like overcoming story. So yeah.
That's the thing. I was like, okay, Cardi B was a stripper. She was all on the pole. But now she's reinvented herself to be a rapper. And maybe I don't like her. Like I like some of her music. I'm not a big Cardi B fan. But if she can go through all of that crap, can you imagine how much crap she had to go through saying, I'm a rapper? And you're like, yeah, okay.
I remember you was down there at Players Club. Man, what you talking about? You a rapper? Okay.
You're a rapper? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was thinking all of the crap she had to deal with, and she probably still deals with, but she doing her own thing. And so I was like, if Cardi B can go from the pole to, the rap mic, anybody can reinvent themselves.
Yeah. And it should give you courage to be able to do it, right? That strength, man. That's good. That's a good twist on how to look at it. I like it. So give us a quote that you live by.
My quote is was Henry David Thoreau. I had to write this down. It says, I learned this, at least my experiment, that if one advances quite confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours. So that means, look, turn the GPS. I gave you directions. This is the way I want you to go. You just follow directions, and if I need to tell you, you listen, the GPS will start talking and say, no, pivot this. Unless you hear that internal GPS saying turn this way, you just keep going. Yeah. You got your marching orders, you just go. So that's why I say I confidently go in the direction of my dreams, listen for the GPS to tell me if I got to recalculate. If not, just keep going.
That's good. That's good. And Henry David Thoreau. That's a throwback for y'all that don't know your American or just say literature. He's yes. He literally walked out into the woods and was like,
yeah, he did.
I'm just gonna go off the grid for a minute.
I love that. I love it. I've always wanted to live off the grid. I don't know if I go to that extreme, but a good walk is what walking has been my non-negotiable.
Absolutely. That's good, man. Y'all pick up a book and read. And your GPS, whatever your belief system is, man, that's your faith walk. You know, God, or whatever you believe in. So I'll leave that there. I want to throw anybody off. No, he's saying God too much. Hey, that's what I do. Don't get mad. If I offended you, you're welcome. All right. So
I'll leave that.
My soldier bust out laughing when I did that one time. I was just like, I'm trying to do this PC thing up here, and it was just like, and then it was like, I just can't think of what I'm supposed to say right now in this PC generation. I said, you know what? If I offended you, you're welcome. They bust out laughing in the middle of formation. Sergeant Major rolling. Hey, First Sergeant, you're welcome. I was like, I'm sorry, Sergeant Major. He said, it's good. I love it. You didn't say anything wrong to me. I said, cool. When they bring you the complaints, just rip them up. Give them their hurt feelings report. Okay. I digress. All right, here we go. So what's your legacy, Tonia?
My legacy is to hope to leave my granddaughter with the fact that she doesn't have to find a job. She can find and create her own dreams with her own mind.
Nice.
And I'm hoping I can create and show you that grandma did it first.
Hey, you're doing it, man. You're actively doing it, and you're speaking that thing into existence, and you're helping other people do it. And there is a law of giving that I know, and the Lord says you can't beat me in giving. So as long as you're giving, He's gonna give you back. So let's get back to these humble boasts and humble brags, man. Come on, man. Talk to us about what you're doing, what you got going. How we can be involved, how we can see what you're doing. Come on.
Well, I have a wonderful website. It's called ConfidenceStrides.com.
ConfidenceStrides.com.
You can see you'll be able to find the links to the YouTube channel, and you'll find the links to the Anchor podcast. Plus, you'll find the links to all of my meetup groups, all in one location. So that's the easiest way to find me. But yes, I am on YouTube under Confidence Strides, and I'm on YouTube. I have 2 channels under Coffee with Tea. I do the meetup groups. You can find me on Tonia Tyler. I host 4 groups, so there's 4 great communities you can be a part of. And then there's also the Facebook group, which we just launched. So again, that's the Confidence Strides Facebook community, and you can find all the links to where we're at, what we're doing. And then if you like walking and you just want to laugh at some of the silliness, I'm on Instagram under Confidence Strides.
Okay. All right. So Confidence Strides is the go-to. Anchor,
it's the go-to.
Anchor will show you the rest of them, but that is all under that one website.
ConfidenceStrides.com.
I like it, man. I'm gonna have to come on in and get some lessons because I'm trying to get smarter and not work harder. But I'm still a babe at this, and I'm learning.
You're doing awesome. I'm so proud, and I'm honored to be here. I just have to say, I'm so proud. I watch. I'm like, ooh, he's doing. Look.
I have most of my guests watch later, so I might start doing like you and just recording and then posting it later. They be like, when you gonna put me up, or when you gonna put mine up? I don't know.
There's a reason behind that. So
yeah, I know you schooled me up on that. So, anyways, we're gonna go on to this lightning round. You ready?
I'm ready.
Lightning round. All right, rules for the lightning round is you answer it as fast as you can, basically. And for everybody that's inside of the group, the chat, you answer along and see if any of your answers match Tonia's answers. Okay, lightning round. Top 3 most played songs in your playlist.
Juice by Lizzo. Beyonce, anything Beyonce. So I'll just say anything Beyonce. I can't come up with a name, but Beyonce is always in my playlist.
Okay.
But Juice by Lizzo is one, definitely.
What's your go-to for inspiration?
Oprah.
Oprah.
Yeah, she's my go-to.
And is that live or is that like her books?
Her live. I didn't really her books, but her. Because here's the thing, Oprah has a ton of knowledge, and her books. This is how nothing. And I'm trying not to go too long, but Oprah. Think about this. If Oprah said, "Let me tell you my secrets to how I created success," or anybody says, "Let me tell you the secrets," everybody be like, "Tell me," but they write it in the book. So get the books. They're telling you their secrets right all in it.
Yeah. Get the book, man, for sure. And they say if you wanna hide the secrets to the world, put it in the book. Most people are not gonna read it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know, man. It's crazy. All right, what's your favorite pastime?
Going for a walk.
Walking. With your Beyonce on.
My Beyonce. I listen to my Beyonce. Usually I walk without music, but if I feel like I got to get pumped up, I put on a playlist. It's usually like an inspirational playlist because you got to pay attention to your words.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the music that you have in your ears, because if you're not paying attention to it, you're setting yourself up. So there's some songs I'm like, ooh. If, like I said, my superpower is listening.
Yeah.
So sometimes the words, I could love a song, but if you listen to the words, you're like, wait a minute. That's not encouraging. Right. So I take it out of my playlist.
Right, like, good. I'm glad you said that, man. That's powerful. I mean, y'all need to replay that, rewind that, and listen to that again. That's your ear gate. You're playing it into your ear gate. That's direct.
It's in your head. And then think about it. Remember Jim Rohn? He used to say, you can't build anything positive in your head if you're listening to the junk. And there's a lot of junk out there. You know, it may have a catchy beat, but if you listen to the words, the words are straight garbage.
Come on, man.
Thinking, and try not to get spiritual, but you always say life and death speaks in the tongue. So if you're not listening, you're not listening.
Of the tongue. Come on, man. You about to start. We about to pass the offering.
I ain't gonna go preach it, but I'm just saying.
We about to pass the offering plate up in here, man.
Yeah. Listen to the words, because you can't build anything with junk.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm gonna get back to the lightning round. I'm gonna drop this pin on that point. Look, marketing experts put a lot of money into the fact that if I put a message behind a jingle, you'll remember it without permission, right? That you didn't buy the sound to the McDonald's theme song or Folgers coffee, but I bet you if I was humming it, they'll know, right? It's Folgers in my cup, I'm loving it. You can hum it in any type of way you want. You can put a fancy new beat to it, and you'll still know it's McDonald's or whoever. They know this, and if they know this, other people know it too. So, anyways, next up, what was your favorite duty station?
Guam. I did 2 tours of it.
Guam, man, yes. Guam was a very, I loved it. I love Chamorro Village. Oh my God.
Oh God, that's some good food. Ooh, that's a food inspector's heaven.
Yes, man. Yes. What's your favorite person in history? Personal, any professional, whoever.
It was my mom. She was my encourager. I would have to say my mom.
Awesome. Good stuff. What's your favorite food?
I like a Chinese buffet. I just like variety.
Okay. Buffets are nice. Buffets are, especially when they don't violate and make your food inspector sensors go off. You be like, you ain't got no sneeze guards? Oh man, I gotta get out of here, man. You trying to hook me up. All right, who's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist, New Edition. I was a New Edition girl.
What?
Yeah, I grew up on New Edition. Come on.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, who's your childhood hero?
My Wonder Woman. I watched her with that. Yeah, Wonder Woman.
So what did you think about the up-to-date movies?
I like them on the DC. I liked the new Wonder Woman, but I know one of the questions you ask your listeners is like DC or Marvel. I'm a Marvel person, but I love me some Wonder Woman.
I mean, but if you think about it, how many more women superhero characters were there back then?
There wasn't many. Oh, and I used to like the Bionic Man, but he was with Wonder Woman. So.
Yeah. But that's it, right? They didn't have a lot out there. Even though Captain Marvel was in the, they didn't really highlight her that much. Like, I remember reading about her, but like cartoons or TV shows, that didn't happen. I didn't see it. I don't remember it.
Well, they had the show with her, Linda Evans, I think that was her name. Linda was her name. I can't think of the actress, but she had the show, the TV show. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I remember that back when they had the Hulk TV show too.
Oh, you hate to see me when I get mad, like get mad.
he turned all ashy. I'm like, dude, that's not a green dude. He just ashy, man. I could do that.
Hey, we had to work with what we had.
That's right. That was that bootleg cinematography. Man, let me stop. Okay.
But like I said, remember we say you'd hate to see me. You knew Bruce Banner. Don't get him mad.
That's right. All right. So, who's your favorite sports player?
I don't follow sports a lot, but I loved Peyton Manning. I don't know what it was.
Peyton Manning?
Just Peyton Manning.
Okay. I remember vaguely that this answer might be, but I'm gonna ask, what's your favorite team?
I would say the Jaguars at one point, but I'm like I said, I'm not a big sports fan, so it's usually whatever city I'm in. Even though I'm in Cincinnati, I like the Bengals.
I thought you was gonna say UConn.
Well, no, I grew up in Connecticut, so it's like wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Connecticut. It was UConn. I love the Huskies.
Yeah.
But then I've always enjoyed the Jaguars when I lived in Jacksonville, and like I said, I'm in Cincinnati, so we got the Bengals. So I mean, sports is not my thing.
Yeah, but in the military, you just go with whatever. Like that's what we did too. I'm
Redskins. When I was in Fort Lee, it was the Redskins.
Yep. Right there in whoever's up the street and giving you those free USO tickets.
Yes. That's my favorite team.
Shout out to the USO. I'll go support the local team. Sure will. All right, Marvel or DC? You said Marvel.
Marvel, yes.
All right, who's your adult hero? Oprah?
No, my adult hero, when I was thinking of that, my adult hero is actually I would say Doctor Strange. But I didn't like the last movie. I was disappointed in him. I always love so because he makes you think.
Yeah.
I like a character that makes you think.
Yeah. That was that movie had me a little bit, but I still enjoyed it. Some of the scenes I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I was not a fan. I walked out kind of disappointed.
Yeah. But overall, I still enjoyed the movie, but it was just some scenes that I was just like, ugh.
I was like, oh, this is too dark. This just, I told my husband, I was like, this is just too dark.
Thank you.
They're losing a Marvel fan here. My husband's like, you're not a true Marvel fan, Tonia.
No. I mean, I'm a diehard Marvel fan, but I didn't watch the demonic portion of the Marvel world. I'm like, I know they got powers, but dang, I ain't trying to. I want to be casting out, demons in the middle of the Marvel. Come on, man. Keep it right.
No.
But anyways.
Think about the people who brought their kids.
Thank you.
I was like, they did not think that through.
That joker came out of the daggone mirror doing some old exorcism type stuff. I was like, oh, come on, man. What did I watch? What was it? What was The Ring? Is this The Ring? What is this? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Anyways. It only lasted for.
We digress on that one. Yeah. I was not.
What was your favorite vacation spot?
Oh my God! See, that's a toss up between two. Because what it is, I love the beach in Miami. I like to go soak up some sun, but then I also like going out to Los Angeles because there's a boutique hotel. That's my spot, just to go soak up some spot, and I like that. So even if I go to Los Angeles and I do nothing, I just like to sit in a hotel, that boutique hotel, and just enjoy the climate. Sometimes you need a solo vacation where you just soak up some time by yourself.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. I know my wife likes to. She had a spot in LA because she was stationed out of LAX.
Oh, really?
When she was working.
That's nice.
when she worked for Delta. Well, she's still working for Delta, but she was her last duty, her duty station. Her last duty station was LAX. Yeah, man. Shout out to Delta Airlines, man. They do hold a high standard. I know they make mistakes, but you know, hey, it is what it is. They're not coming apart mid-flight. So, hey, thank you for your QA people. Anyways, man, that's a wrap. How you doing? We good?
We're good. I hope as Oprah would say, I hope I was a good guest.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's anytime that you know we can sit down, break some bread, go down memory lane, and just you know let people see and hear. I mean, like you were very honest, man. You know, and it's some stuff that's like, wow, you brought back some stuff, some memories that I forgot about. You know, and yeah, it's good. It was really good.
So, congratulations on everything. I continued success on your show here, and you know, I would love to come back. That's the thing. People come on. I always ask them, "Would you willing to come back?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I think, how do people invite themselves back? Just like I did. I would love to come back.
I already told you, come out to Coffee Crepes, Leadership and Pancakes. Come on,
I would
man.
be honored to. Yes.
Look, we're going over this week. We're going over this habitudes.
Oh, okay.
It's habits and attitude, images that form leadership habits.
You know, I gotta write that down. Habitudes.
Habitudes by Dr. Tim Elmore. And we're just gonna do one of the so it's about imagery. And the image that we're going over this week it's a mirror image, and just a sample is basically saying, as a leader, a lot of times you can relate to this. Some leaders are like, do what I say, not what I do. But you're doing something contrary to what you told me to do, so it's making you successful. I'm gonna follow what you're doing and not what you said do. Right? Because the mirror image. So that's what that image is about. It's just going into the details of, you know, if you want people to do something, you need to be doing it too. Lead from example. So yeah, man, yeah, come on out.
I would be on. Yeah, I would do that, because here's the thing I think about that. Right? They always say, "What's the most?" It's not about what you say, like you said. It's about what people are watching, what you're doing.
Yeah.
You what you doing speaks volumes way over what you say.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna shoot you the invite and the information.
Thank
Sounds
you. I'll
good?
be honored. Yes, sounds good.
All right, Tonia, it was awesome. Thank you for coming out. I know you're busy. You're doing classes. You're teaching people. You're coaching. You're doing a lot of stuff, man. So, you know, I really, really want to say, one, thanks for having me on your show. I appreciate it. My soldier's asking for the link to the thing, so I was like, it's confidencestrides.com. You go and you find the Coffee with Tea podcast on YouTube, and you'll find it.
Yeah, I didn't know where to put my link, so I can always follow up with you and you can let them find me.
Again, confidencestrides.com.
.com.
That's right, man. And everybody else, man, y'all be safe. Don't do anything stupid. It's just Tuesday. Wait until Friday. And when you do stupid, stay home and do stupid. And only do little stupid. Don't do big stupid. And I know I said that a lot. It's because it's an overplay on the word. If you know what it means a lot of things for us in the military. That means it covers everything, right? Don't drink and drive. Don't drive and drink. Don't beat your kids. Don't get beat by your kids. Don't beat your dog. Don't let your dog beat you. You know, stupid things. Don't do it, right? If it'll get you locked up, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yes.
on that, I'll be talking with you soon. Tonia and everybody else, peace.